All right, what's up, guys? This is Daniel with Midnight Movie Trash, and I'm here with director Tom Ryan. How you doing?
Good, man. Good, Daniel. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate that.
No problem. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me about your upcoming film, Bitter Souls.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about Bitter Souls?
Yeah. Bitter Souls is it's a feature film. It's stars Adriana Rose, Michael Hargrove, Destiny Brown, Mike McGeever, a collection of other incredibly talented actors. But it basically follows the story of a girl who is murdered and returns from the dead to exact revenge on her killers. But there's a little bit more that play into that. There's a voodoo backdrop to this story. Um, Michael Hargrove plays a character by the name of Emmanuel, and he's our antagonist. So, yeah,
Yeah, I talked to Michael last weekend, and he was telling me that he's playing a Jamaican voodoo priest or something of that nature.
yeah, yep,
Yeah, he was telling me about his learning a Jamaican accent and how he had a friend that's Jamaican trying to help him, and like she gave up on him.
yeah, yeah. He was great. He did a great job. We discussed his prep as well. You know, Michael's a great actor. And he did a lot of prep work for the role, and he delivered in spades as far as I'm concerned. Yeah,
Yeah, Mike's awesome. He talked a little bit about um last year during the strike where I did a quick interview with him about how he got into acting, being the strike, couldn't talk about anything. And he's like, I got something in the works that you're probably gonna like. I can't talk about it. He's like, so this year when I saw him, he's like, you got any new questions? I was like, yeah, I heard you're part of Bitter Souls. He's like, okay, yeah, we're definitely gonna
yeah,
talk. Um, I saw on social media that you used some historical locations in the filming.
yeah. We shot in Carbondale, PA, and it's just an amazing small town that welcomed us with open arms, and we shot in and around that area as well as in Scranton. But yeah, in a lot of beautiful places, the downtown streets of Carbondale are historic in and of themselves. You kind of see that just in the atmosphere of the film. Just really nice locations. We also got to shoot in a great place, the Ritz Theater in Scranton, which is beautiful. They just opened up now, and they're promoting a lot of shows and performances there. Real great place. We shot at the City Line, which was also in Carbondale. Just a lot of really beautiful places and locations were afforded to us.
That's awesome. How did you get attached to the film?
Yeah, so the film was produced by Showtime American Pictures. And Showtime American is they're located down in Tampa, I believe. I know they're down in Florida, and a fellow by the name of Ed McGeever is one of the partners at Showtime American. And Ed and I kind of have a relationship from he used to be located in New Jersey. And so we crossed paths at a couple of conventions, horror conventions and such. I've been a fan of Ed's work. 100 Acres of Hell is one of the pictures. They did The Beast Comes at Midnight, and a bit a supporter of his work. Ed has also mutually been a supporter of my work. And I think we were looking for an opportunity to work together. There was another picture that I'll just kind of leave it unnamed because it still might turn into a developing project for us that we were going to work on, but that kind of got postponed. And so when the opportunity to make Bitter Souls arose, Ed reached out to me, asked me if I was interested. I read the script. I really loved the story. And yeah, so I came on board.
That's cool. I also saw that y'all had actual voodoo practitioner as part of the crew.
Yeah, yeah. A fellow by the name of Chris. We used his storefront as a location. Just a great gentleman. And, it was crazy because we didn't have that location locked up prior to me coming on board the film. When I went out with some of the folks out there, the producers and the crew that were involved in the film, to kind of show me some of the locations, we were supposed to find this voodoo shop that was going to be central to the story. And as they were taking me through town, we kind of stumbled upon the town square, and I saw this shop, and I said, "Wow, that place looks really interesting. What is that?" And we walked up, and it's just kind of this antique store that's was an amazing location, and saved our art department a lot of trouble because the place was already decorated for the film, And I went inside and I told the owner, Chris, that we were scouting for a movie. He was totally interested and into it. And then when I told him it was a voodoo movie, he said, "I'm a voodoo practitioner." And he took me over and showed me all of his shrines and his and all of his works. And so that was incredibly helpful, yeah, to shoot there. And I just kind of ran a lot of the script by him, the stuff that we were shooting at his store, and asking him, how authentic is a lot of this stuff. And he kind of walked us through the rituals and stuff, and really lent us that authenticity that he was aware of. Yeah.
Oh wow. Um, Let me ask you, as a filmmaker, what advice would you give a upcoming filmmaker?
Oh wow. I mean, where do we start? Where do we end? Um, Gosh, giving advice to upcoming filmmakers, it's kind of a difficult prospect because there's so much to cover. Um, I guess the most basic thing about filmmaking is being organized. And I think that before any filmmaker launches into any project, when you're involving either money or someone's time, you want to make sure that you have your ducks in a row. And I think that that's probably the best advice that I could give. I know it's very vague, but I just think it has to do with when you're building a production, um, have your script ready, have your shoot schedule ready, have have yourself prepared for things to go wrong because things always go wrong on a film set. So you always want to think ahead. What could possibly go wrong here? And just kind of make sure. And I mean, that goes down to the very littlest thing, like getting a flat tire on your way to set. I mean, things happen. And so you want to make sure that you kind of have contingency plans for everything. And that just basically means that you're as prepared as you can be. And that's the best advice I could give for up and coming filmmaker. Be really prepared.
And touching on something you just said about things going wrong on the film set, was there anything that kind of threw the ball off during filming?
Yeah, we had quite a few incidents, actually. Usually things that were outside of our control, some things that were inside of our control that might have been overlooked. But I have to say that on Bitter Souls, I really got to enjoy working with a very capable cast and crew, and so we're able to think on our feet and kind of adapt in films. Because again, you have usually have very limited time or limited access to locations, and so you have to be able to make things work when obstacles arise. And we did have a few things that popped up for us. Nothing that I could be too specific about, I guess, but just obstacles that arose and made certain things difficult. Bitter Souls was an incredibly challenging shoot, and but it's a great experience, I think, for our team because you know getting through it and getting to the finish line. There's a resiliency in that experience that I think everybody can be proud of that worked on the film.
Awesome. Um, any other projects you got going on top of this one?
Yeah, well, I just before I came on board with Bitter Souls, I had completed a horror anthology called Return to the Theater of Terror. I'm the founder of the Theater Terror Productions. We're based out of New Jersey, and yeah, we had our first film Theater of Terror released in 2019. I apologize. 2019, that one came out. Return to the Theater of Terror was released in 2023. Four-story anthology. Right now, it's on Tubi, it's on Amazon Prime, it's on Apple TV, it's on most of the major streaming. I think it's actually on YouTube as well for free, so you can check that out. I've got a new short film called The Final Walk that was produced by and written by Beatrice Bublé, Wendell Laurent, and Glenn McBride Jr. And you might remember Beatrice as Freddy Krueger's mom from the Nightmare on Elm Street series, the younger version of his mom she played. And great lady and a great cast and great writers and a great little story. That's a short film that we've got hitting the festival circuit soon. There's a proof of concept project that I recently directed for Hudson Exploited Theater Company, and it's kind of a short dramatic piece called West of the City, La Cafeteria, and the story revolves around the Cuban mafia and the Italian mafia in the 1980s and the relationship that they formed. West of the city talks about Union City, North Bergen area. and their relationship with the New York mob. And that was a lot of fun because it was outside of the horror realm for me,
Mhm.
and I got to work with some great actors, and my mother's Cuban, and just so kind of going into that kind of reference of the Cuban mafia was really kind of fun and cool for us to do. And I mean, I spent my childhood in Union City in North Bergen to with my mom visiting her friends and family. So it was a very cool project. That one will be coming out soon, and hopefully a few things on the forefront there that we're looking forward to. Nothing that I can officially announce yet, but hopefully we'll have some updates on that soon.
Let me ask you, what inspired you to be a director?
God, I always wanted to be I've wanted to be a filmmaker since I was a kid, and I think it really started. I think it started with me wanting to be a special effects artist.
Hmm.
I when I was a kid, I watched a behind the scenes documentary on the making of The Empire Strikes Back and Star Wars, and I saw the stop motion effects that they were doing with the Tauntauns and the blue screen that they were using for the spaceships. And I'd always been a huge fan of the old uh, Ray Harryhausen effects and the King Kong and the Adventures of Sinbad and Jason and the Argonauts and stuff. I just loved stop motion. I was such a huge fan of it. And then when I kind of saw that behind the scenes with Star Wars, I was just convinced. I said, man, here's these adults are playing with toys, and it's basically them like moving these little models and stuff. And I just said, this is what I want to do when I get older. And I started really watching a lot of behind the scenes stuff with filmmaking. And then I kind of started shifting into the director's position where the special effects were really kind of intriguing for me. But I was also a storyteller and I like to act. And I think, all of that kind of combined made me want to kind of helm my own movies because I was always so focused on the story as opposed to focused on acting or anything. The story was always something that was really important to me. So a lot of those films, growing up on those things, growing up on the original Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and the Universal monster movies and all, like I said, all those motion adventure films and just there was so much that made my imagination run wild as a kid when Tron came out and The Howling, and you'd never seen stuff like that before. I was lucky to really see a transition from really 70s, late 70s type horror, which was very cerebral, psychological, and kind of psychedelic. And that transition into the special effects, the graduation into the Tom Savinis and the Steve Johnsons and the such that just kind of brought so many of these movies to the forefront of the imagination for kids. It was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing stuff. So I think all of that collectively kind of led me down that road, yeah, to be a director.
And on Bitter Souls, are you doing a lot of practical effects on the film?
Yeah, there's we do have practical effects on Bitter Souls. There's a lot of voodoo magic involved,
Mhm.
which unfortunately is something that's hard to kind of practically
Yeah.
demonstrate. So we do have some visual effects in the film as well. But yeah, I mean, practical effects whenever we can do it is always priority.
Awesome. One final question. Where can they find you and all the information for your films?
Well, you can find us on Facebook under Theater of Terror. I have to mention that theater is spelled Theatre, not ER. So if you look us up under RE, Theater of Terror, you'll find us on Facebook, Instagram, we're Theater Terror, on Twitter, we're Theater Terror. Um, but yeah, you can find all of our stuff there. You can find on my website is www.theaterofterror.net. On there, we have some free short films that you could watch. We have the Jack and Cody series, The Chilling Childhood Adventures of Jack and Cody, which is a YouTube series I did with my son and his friend during COVID, which is a
Oh, nice.
great little beginner to kind of get kids into horror. It's a nice, soft kind of beginning for kids. So, yeah, you can find us there. YouTube is also Theater of Terror as well.
Awesome. And as far as Bitter Souls, I had heard there's a release date of possibly Octoberish. Is that still going on or?
Yeah, fingers crossed. We're very close to making that happen. I think that I'll await for production. to make that announcement officially, but I know that that is the target date. Yeah, we're looking for that target.
Awesome. Tom, thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank
Um,
you, Daniel. Appreciate
any
appreciate being on, my friend. Thank you.
any final thoughts?
Listen, man, support independent film. I appreciate you giving us an opportunity to talk about it. But I always reach out to people and ask them to support independent film, look into them. Um, there's an abundance of content coming out on streaming channels. It's really hard to keep up. Lots of high quality stuff, some low quality stuff. But I encourage our fans and listeners, everybody, keep giving these films a chance. There's a lot of diamonds in the rough out there, and we appreciate the support.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Daniel. Take care, pal.